I picked them to do well again this year, and I was on Arthur's podcast, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick them to win, right? I'm on the Alice podcast. So, but I also didn't thought they actually had a chance, right? Like looking, like you said, at the last couple of years and stuff, and like even before, they just had a good hockey team. They played a certain way that's hard to play against and not a lot of fun. And so that, yeah, that was just a clear choice for me for playoffs and stuff, at least, right? So, but like you said, I haven't watched as many games I did on the beginning of the year when I did that podcast to kind of like know what I'm talking about, kind of. And it just seemed like they weren't playing like they did the last couple of years, right? That gritty style and like wearing you down. Like they had it for spurts, I felt like in the games, just from watching those few games, obviously, like whenever I would tune in. But they weren't as like the last couple of years, right? Where like actually, like I said, like people, you didn't want to play against them. They didn't care if you win 1-0 or 6-5, right? So and then I feel like when it's a team, generally in hockey, like I noticed whenever you go off to a slower start, right, it's like harder to grind into and find your game. Like the one year with my first year of the Rangers, we had a good start and it felt like easy sailing all the way through, kind of never really worried about losing your playoff spots. It's kind of weird dynamic in hockey if you like start behind the 8 ball to kind of climb your way up. So, but yeah, like it's just the way it goes. If is it this drastic as like retooling the whole thing, like then you would just discredit the last 3 years and you had that big of a drop off, right? So you kind of got to evaluate what has happened. Like, was the road trip part of it? Was the COVID, like all like missing players and stuff part of it, right? Because usually you don't have that fast and that big of a drop off in my eyes, like especially with the players you have there, right? And the guys that they signed. So I think it's maybe more of a down year, but maybe they could use a couple pieces, right, to help them again. And like they lost some along the way too, right? They thought they're good players, Taves and stuff. So yeah, it's I don't think it's like that dramatic to like just throw in a towel and start over again, but probably could use some help maybe.